Life choice. Life choice is an important decision you make about your life. For example, what you want to do, whether to get married or not, and what to do about yourself. This program is to give you more insight into the characterization of important people in the society, where they'll be sharing their experiences with us, where they'll be talking about their lifestyle and the decision they made that made them successful today. This is Life Choice with Veekii Royce. I am Veekii Royce. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Life Choice with Veekii Royce. On the show today, we have a multi-award winning gospel artist, a cinematographer, and a husband, a mentor, and a father. Today on the show is Mr. ELGIBOR NIYI. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you.
You're looking good, I must say.
Thank you.
Wow. Can you tell us, what's your understanding about life choice?
Well, life choice, just like you said, is a choice we make that we live with later. And any choice you make will either make you or mar you. You know, we have so many people like living, walking, breathing that have not been able to make any choice. Why? Because of fear. And one thing about life is this: if you don't make a choice, life will make a choice for you. So that's why it's very important to make a good choice while you're trying to make a choice. We've been there and we'll always be there. So life choice is very important, but what kind of choice are you making? That will depend on how far you go.
It is obvious that the choices you made has really brought you far.
By God's grace, yes, it has.
Tell us, sir, how long have you been in the industry?
Well, it's been a while. You know, sometimes when I tell people that I've been in the industry they tend to look at me. Did you start in your mother's womb? You know, but you know, it's been a long time coming. I released my first two singles in 1999. You know, so that's about 20 something years ago. So as a gospel artist, and I've been working since 96, 97 as a music producer, you know, and later, you know, got into cinematography. So I'm a cinematographer. So it's been a long time. At the same time, I'm a business person. I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm a brand executive, you know, multimedia and business, and I'm also a pastor. So
wow.
I'm like an onion. That's what they call me, with many layers. You know, my passion is to see things like, you know, to see excellence in what we do, especially when it comes to gospel.
Very important.
Because we have a long way to go. So some people must stick their neck, they must stick everything out there to see how we can push this gospel. Some people say don't call it industry, say ministry, but the fact is that it's still an industry. If we've agreed to take it to the mainstream, it becomes an industry.
So you are multi-talented.
By God's grace, I am.
Amazing. So, would like to know, what has the experience been singing gospel?
Well, as I say, it's an experience that, number one, when you ask a gospel artist, most of us will tell you that it's a calling. And we have some people that maybe they just like it because now, when we started, it wasn't as glamorous as this.
Very true.
You know, so for me, we started, you know, from the hard place, and we didn't come into it because of this mentality we have that I want to blow. If you're coming into it with that mindset, because it's not easy,
yes,
there will be so many nights that you will cry and you will tell yourself, look, am I sure this is what I want to do? Because I remember after school, I was working as a music director with some churches, with a church, and you know, so all that I use this proceed from my music. I'm a multi-instrumentalist to pay my tuition fee to study. You know, then after that, you can't go to school, and now you're about to make a choice. Now I had a choice to make. Do I want to pursue my this in as a computer programmer, or do I want to go into the industry, you know, as a producer, as a gospel artist? And I made up my mind to go into that. I remember one of those days, my younger sister, my elder sister, they called me, they said, NIYI, come. That's my younger sister, and my elder sister said, NIYI, Joko. So we sat down and they told me, Timiziko by Shinshi. Go and dust your certificate. That's if music is not giving anything to you, go and dust your certificate. Go and get something doing. But I just made up my mind that there's something, you know, in this. So I wouldn't say music has been easy being a gospel artist, because you go to churches and all they do is they give you wave offering, you know. And when we talk about money, paying, they say it's all about money. It's not really, it's not about money. At the same time, I think people should have this mind of encouraging music, gospel musicians. If you want to do any rehearsals, you have to pay for rehearsals, you have to pay. And some of the people working with you as your musicians, they are married. Wow. They have children. So it has not been easy, but at the same time, it's been God's grace.
Wow. Can you tell us, what has been your greatest challenges? Could it be in the area of finance, or no encouragement from your parents, or what was your greatest challenge?
Well, I have a lot of, because I have my own story, you know, a lot of challenges. While we're talking behind the scene, I told you I was born in Kaduna. I grew up in Zaria, you know, and I had to leave Zaria. And I went to Lagos just to say I could further my music. And there was no place to live in Lagos. I was sleeping outside, you know, Joelegba, for a long time. Somebody took me in, but it was still outside. You know, no food to eat. I tell people this story. There was a time that my friend and I would go to where they sell gari, you know, and when we see people buying gari, but we wait for them to finish buying, because we're not going to buy the real gari. What we're looking for was the cocoa gari they pour under, you know, for goats to feed on, and we buy that, we go and soak it, you know. So it has been challenging, actually. It has been very challenging. But at the same time, what do? We just thank God. So there's nothing that doesn't come with its challenges. So we've had that. But we just to put headlong, hit it, and somehow God will smile on you.
Viewers, you've heard it all. And I know you are interested to know more about his journey. We'll be going on a break, and we will come back. We will continue with the gist. And don't forget, this is a Life Choice with Veekii Royce. We'll be right back.
Life Choice with Veekii Royce. Veekii Royce.
Welcome back to Life Choice with Veekii Royce. We still have our important guests on the show. And ELGIBOR, your experience is really a great one, and I can actually understand that people over time, people make some choices about themselves, but they don't understand the importance and the impact of every decision. So my question is, as a gospel minister, what is that thing that keeps driving you to continue to do it?
Wow.
Because I know that at some point, you've thought of giving up. So what drives you to keep doing it?
Okay. Wow. This is an important question, very profound. Now, whatever we do, there's always a driving force.
Yes.
Either negative or positive.
Exactly.
Always, every human being has a driving force to whatever they're doing. My own driving force is to see prophecy come to pass. One of those things, you must have a relationship with God, and you know what God has said about you. You know what He has told you. I remember when I was growing up, I had a dream that I was outside the country, I was ministering, and I never had anybody outside the country. So, but when I had prophecies, like literally telling me that you'll be ministering outside the country, you'll become. So some of those things, they propelled me, and most especially seeing how your music could touch people's lives.
Very important.
You understand me? And over time, those prophecies have come to pass. Minister on different platforms outside the country and seeing people. Another thing is, when you think your song or what you're doing is not going all over, but you see somebody calling you from one remote area of the world and saying, your song has blessed me, your songs are blessing me. So those things, they motivate us. Yes, they inspire us so that we can, look, one thing about life is that you are not here just by yourself. You are not here just to fill the number. You have a purpose for being here. And you must fulfill the purpose while you are here. You are not useless.
And they must recognize.
You must recognize that purpose. We're talking about choice. Choice is important. Do you think the person that is out there begging, it's not that he made that choice, but he indirectly made that choice. Maybe when he was supposed to go to school, he didn't go to school. Or when he was supposed to wake up in the morning and do something, he didn't do those things. But indirectly, he was making a choice for himself. So it's very important that we are intentional in making the choices of our lives, which will really help us.
Very interesting. As an experienced man in the industry, what can you say about the gospel industry? Do you think that the ministers are impacting lives, or they are so focused on themselves, on what they want to achieve? Can you throw more light?
Okay, now I'm going to be straight with this. We've missed it already. If you like it or not, we've missed it. I know it's an industry, but right now you find that anything goes when it comes to gospel. You can't even differentiate, gospel from secular. Now everybody has that mentality. It's me. You are not even. I said something. I wrote something on my wall. I said, do you know that we have some gospel artists? You see a younger person doing something, you go on his page on Facebook, and this guy is blessing me, or what he just did blessed me. But because you have more followership than him, you find it beneath yourself to even press like.
Wow.
On that, or to even comment.
I relate to that, sir.
Or comment on it. Now the fact is that this thing happens in the gospel industry. I've seen people coming to some of my colleagues, and some are very open, and they say, sir, or they tell us, I don't know that you are so open like this. No, because see, why are you here? Whatever you are doing, you went through that experience so that you can encourage another person.
The one that coming behind.
We've turned it to, I have more followership on Instagram, I have more followership on Facebook. So who is this person? No, see, everybody in the industry, in the ministry is popular. There is no superstar. Because if Jesus, gave his life for us, he said we are chosen generation, we are royal priesthood, we've been called, we are superstars. So how will you booga for your fellow person in the ministry? We need to encourage. So we've missed it, we should come back to the line.
I had there is a gospel artist which I would not want to mention their names, and I heard them tell me, they say, oh, because my followers are small and I don't have likes, they think I'm not there yet. The question is, what can that person do to feel more encouraged? Because such a thing can discourage the person, and the person gives up entirely. Because he says something, the ones that have followers and the ones that have more likes tend to feel too important to pay attention to the ones that are just coming up. What do you have to say about that?
It's as simple. Does Jesus like what you're doing?
Wow.
And are you following Jesus?
You're following the masses.
These are the two important questions. If you have 10 people now, your capacity determines what you can carry.
Wow.
And God knows your capacity. If your capacity is for 20 people, make sure those 20 people are blessed by you. You understand me? So if you have those 2 people following you, stay put. Your time will come. The Bible says that there's time for everything under the earth. Your time will come, but you must be patient and just follow God. Forget about the social media. There's nothing in social media. That's why so many people are depressed now because of social media. Some people go and steal. What do they call these women? What do they call these? They are Brazilian hair, human hair. They will go and steal it, or they will borrow it and snap. And you that you don't have, you will see the person on Instagram and say, oh, this person, I even finished school before this person is, and the person actually borrowed it. And you're going to kill yourself about that. So please, just be yourself and thank God. The most important thing, let God like what you're doing and follow God. The remaining will fall in place.
The program is still on. And before we continue, we'd like to digress a bit into the church. But before then, we'll go on a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the church. We'll be right back.
CHOICE with Veekii Royce, Veekii Royce.
Welcome back. This is Life Choice with Veekii Royce. And we still have on the show ELGIBOR and NIYI. The discussion has been overwhelming, and I'm sure a lot of viewers are interested in the topic we're about to deal with, and that's the church. My question is, the church is a place where we worship, and for gospel industry, the church has a lot of impact. And as a whole, we, the gospel ministers, always begin, or we start from the church. Now, my question is, what are the impacts that you think the church has made on any growing gospel artist?
Okay, a whole lot of impact.
So you think that the church is supportive enough to help them grow? Because there are churches that when you are a member and you are a minister, they just want you to remain within the church.
Yeah, I think that is for a pastor that doesn't have the full understanding of what his son or daughter minister carries. Now, Jesus said, go into the word and preach the gospel. He didn't say stay in the church and preach the gospel.
Exactly.
You understand me? So we have much more than enough talented people in the church. How can light be lighting light? Light is supposed to light darkness. So what do? Let everybody go out. If you have people, send them to the world. Let them go and make impact. So we have churches that do encourage their ministers, and we have many churches that don't encourage their minister. So it's a kind of half-half thing. But we encourage these other churches that don't encourage their minister. And by the way, if your son or your daughter is popular out there, people want to come to the church. So it's a platform for you too as a church.
Before we let you go, I'm sure my viewers would like to know, if you have administration somewhere, for instance, and they are meant to pay you 50 million naira, and it has to do with the outside, an outside job, and you are in the church, and you have to minister, and they have to pay you 50,000. Would you leave the church, or would you go out there to do that which pay you 50 million naira?
You are putting me on the spot now.
Because in your word, you said, God first.
Yes, God first.
Would you decide to go for the one of 50 million naira, or you remain in the church because you love God and take 50,000?
Okay, look, this is a very dicey question. Very dicey.
Because I hear a lot of people say, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for God.
Let's be very sincere about this. You know, when you start hearing actually in a conversation, you know, the fact is this, is depending on the church. I have somebody that carried me for, you know, when I was evicted. He gave me money to go and pay my house rent. He gave me food. And I was having a conference, and I'm in the church, and somebody is giving me another money. I will consider that thing. That, first of all, relationship is very important.
So when you consider the 50 million?
I'm trying to balance it here. Okay. That's why it's always here actually. So I'm trying to balance it. The fact is this, your relationship with me will determine if I'm going to push that money.
So it's tagged on relationship.
When you don't take care of me in the church, you don't do anything, you don't do, and you are going to, and I know when I go to minister, you're going to give me 50,000, they're giving me 50 million. I will go for 50 million. After getting that 50 million, I will use it to feed people that don't have what do we call it. Because number one, you didn't keep a relationship with me. It's not tit for tat, but it's just wisdom, which is very, very profitable to direct.
So, in your word, relationship will determine whether to accept 50 million naira.
Yes.
From an outside job.
And I know somebody will be saying, so you're not going to pray about it. There are some things that you don't need to pray about. Common wisdom.
Sure.
Wisdom that God has given you. God did not give us this common sense to hang some other things. I always say it. Sure. Yeah. So I won't come on your show and say, oh, no, it's what the Lord, I will go for 50,000. When I know really, those kind of things, even when God is saying go for 50,000, we are going to pray and ask God, Baba, are you sure? So let's not pretend. So that's it.
Before we let you go, what advice do you have for the ones that are coming up and looking up to becoming something great in life? What's your great advice to them?
Now I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be easy. Many things will want to discourage you, but what has God called you to do? So many people will even tell you, this your music will not take you anywhere. But you have to hold on to it. But I want to let you know this. It will speak. It may tarry. But as long as you are patient, let me tell you, the devil or humans, they don't respect your talent, but they respect the consistency of your talent. So that is it. Just be consistent. That's all.
ELGIBOR, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing time. I'm sure the viewers had an amazing time. So before we go, we have something for you. Please accept this on behalf of Life Choice with Veeki Royce.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Cute.
I hope you like it.
I love it already.
Thank you so much. And this is for you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So far, we've come to the end of today's episode. And remember the word of God that says, we should trust in the Lord with all our heart, and we should not lean on our own understanding. This is Life Choice with Veeki Royce. Till we meet again, same time on another episode with Life Choice with Veekii Royce. I remain your humble host, Veekii Royce, and you just watched Life Choice with Veekii Royce. See you next time. Remain blessed.
Veekii Royce.